After playing this meta for over 40 hours, I would like to make an actual tier list, another tier list of people doing a tier list like 10 days even before all the cards were revealed, so I can actually give some value to people that are watching this video. So we'll start with the Origins Legends. We'll go for the Metal Gaming first. We're gonna sort them out on the spot. So that's gonna be, of course, Jinx, because nobody plays Jinx. It's a metal card. This is also a metal card. And Garen is most likely also a metal card. After that, we're gonna go to Spirit Forge. Rumble is a metal card. Lucian at this point feels like a metal card, but might not be. After that, let's see. Jax might be a metal card. So the ones that I'm not sure about, if they're actually metal card level, I'm gonna be putting them to C tier. After that, Jin is most likely a metal card. Y might be C tier actually, just because you have the legend on the champion on the side, which is kind of good. This is definitely metal card gaming. This guy might be metal card or here, but let's just put him on the top of maybe the bottom C tier. Then Poppy is metal card gaming. Shen is definitely a metal card gaming. And Renekton might be C or B tier. It's kind of hard to say, it's not figured out completely. So maybe top of C, somewhere in B. Jace is just an Aurora deck. Aurora is A, so it's gonna be there. And now we're gonna be moving up the ladder. I think Kai'Sa might be very good right now, because a lot of mid-range decks are popping off. So it might be like low A tier, high B tier, just because of the potential that she has. And she did get more cards that have removal, essentially the new blue card that lowers the power of the chase spell, essentially the 3 energy, 1 power 1. So that spell is kind of good for her. And Kai'Sa was always good. The only problem Kai'Sa had, like against Aurelia and all the deflect decks, and Aurora is kind of a problem, but it's still a good deck. It can top 8, it can top 64. I'm not sure if it can win a tournament, so maybe because of that it's a B tier, but most likely it's A tier. At the top of A tier, I would put Draven. Might even be S tier, because this guy counters Akali, and he's still a good deck. I mean, like, nothing changed. People just stopped playing him. He's still a very good deck. He might be even in S tier, but for now we'll put it in A tier. Cannon will be our first S tier, because, bruh, being able to find all the cards you need, like, the consistency of this deck is super high. If you like consistent decks, like you play Diana, for example, this is quite consistent, I would say. Diana is most likely still S tier. High A tier, S tier, most likely S tier, because she got the Poro. Poro is super strong. It's super efficient, as in you get a plus, and at the same time you get to restand 2 runes with Hui. That's kind of good. So I would say it's an S tier. LeBlanc, most likely high A tier, closer to S maybe, depends on the build. If you're playing Hook, it might be S. Master Yi, still S tier. Master Yi will stay S tier until he gets banned. He is just that type of deck, and he got some orange support as well. Yeah, this is like nothing else to say. It's just Master Yi. Oh, also Lee Sin is also a metal card gaming card. Ornn could actually be like B to A tier, most likely B, because Ornn just has a lot of good tools with, well, essentially it was always good, I would say, just nobody's playing it. It might be B to A tier, but most likely it's B, just because of the Aurora matchup. All green, blue decks struggle into Aurora. Azir, definitely A tier, very strong, most likely somewhere here. Azir is A tier, most likely. We all know that guy that keeps winning with Azir. Azir just have these efficient lines that he has. Of course, if like Gears will be more popular, Thermo Beam is a card, and Raven can run Thermo Beam, Kaisa can run Thermo Beam, so maybe Azir is like in a top spot, but at the same time, it's still a good deck. Arise is super strong. The deck will be strong either way. So in my opinion, it's an A tier here. Kha'Zix is a B, maybe even A tier. Simply because orange and purple as a combination right now is kind of good. With the new cards that we got revealed, like there's a bunch of combos that you can do with this. But at the same time, like if you don't pull off those combos, it's like whatever. So most likely it's a B tier, in my opinion. Then Victor is most likely B or A tier still. It's still a good deck. Like there's not much to say. Control decks should be good because there's gonna be a lot of combo and mid-range in the game. Mel is essentially the same as Ezreal, so I would say these two are A tier. Anything that's in A tier can get a top 8 in my opinion. So A tier is for both of these. Most likely both of them will be running the control version, especially Mel. But the difference is between one and the other is that Mel has a signature spell, so it's most likely higher than Ezreal. But Ezreal gets to draw a bunch of cards and find his pieces a lot easier. From my playtesting on Mel, usually she runs out of steam, so unless you find the draw engine that you play in the deck, it's really hard. But in regards of removal, she's way better. You have the signature spell. The signature spell is dirty AF, because just keeping one rune up means your opponent cannot falling star you, they cannot star cross, well they could, but like you're gonna change the targets, or make better choices for yourself, or even just counter it and not use the second effect of the signature spell. So I think these two are definitely in the A tier just because of the color combination that they have. Teemo, well, the spiders are a thing, but I don't think it's too high. It might be high B tier. Yeah, and most likely people will not even play it in the regional, just because you don't get a metal card anymore. Then Nasus. This is controversial because I play a lot of Nasus. I've been testing it quite often on the stream. I kind of want to say it's C tier, but at the same time it might be actually B tier, might be even A tier, depends on what kind of build you run. But just for content purposes, because I know people will just scroll down and just look at the end of the video, I'm gonna put him to low B tier, but it's most likely an A tier deck. But for now, let's put it in low B tier. Lux Infinite combo still works, still is high in the list, still an A tier deck, as in A can top an event, it can even win a skirmish and such, so I would say it's an high A. Same thing goes for all the Aurora decks. This is an Aurora deck, this is an Aurora deck. Aurora is definitely in the A tier. Not much has changed. I think Jace is a better Aurora deck in my opinion, that's why it's a bit higher. But yeah, the placing in here does matter, I would say. Victor might be somewhere here. This will be somewhere here. And all the Aurora decks are here. Like here and here. So Victor might be the lowest A tier, but it's still a good deck, in my opinion. Set is a B tier deck, it's still good. If Kaisa gets popular, it's gonna be A tier, but I would place it in the next to Teemo. If you don't know how to play against the deck, it's super strong. If you know how to play against the deck, it's like, sure, it's a deck. But it's still strong. Being able to protect your units is quite powerful, and it all depends on the pilot, in my opinion. Like, I always thought Set is strong because of his effect. You just need to be able to manage everything properly and not make mistakes, and if you do that, it's an A tier. In general, it's a B tier deck, in my opinion. Akali, I would say it's low A tier. There are builds that are strong. I saw Sam D. Sherman play this with a bunch of gears that give you +1 when you fight alone. So you go in, go out with Jin and units like that, and you basically get +2 from one gear because it stays until the end of the turn. But Draven is a deck, and Draven kind of counters this. I would even say that removal decks should be able to counter this, so maybe it's somewhere here. In between the loop deck and in between the Aurora deck. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not as good as these three guys, in my opinion. It will top, of course, it's a new legend. Everybody will be playing it, it's popular. But it's definitely not S tier, in my opinion. Moving on, let's take a look at Rengar. Rengar is still good. I think it's in the A tier, somewhere around here. Yeah, can you imagine that? We have a lot of units in the A tier and S tier because there's a lot of good decks. Can you imagine that? There's a lot of good decks. Volibear is Aurora. I would say it's somewhere in the B tier. Maybe closer to Set, somewhere here. Simply because the deck is still playable, you still have a lot of possibilities. Not a lot of people will be playing it in regionals because you don't get a medal card, but I think it might be like somewhere here. The deck has some issues, but it's still a strong deck. If you draw all the cards you need, of course you're gonna win. But it's not an A tier in my opinion. It's definitely B, maybe B+, but not higher than that. Then we have Renata. Renata is like a C tier in my opinion, maybe high C tier. You can actually do the loop version with Renata. And you could be playing that and try to get a medal card, and then it's like a B tier, not A tier, because you don't get to draw as you get to draw with Lux. And with that deck, you have to draw all your cards, and then you start doing the loop. So essentially, you're on a timer, and you have to be able to draw your deck before your opponent goes to 6 to finish the game. So for that reason, I would say it's a C tier on its own. If it's a loop deck, it's maybe B tier. Why some cards you don't get medal cards? You don't get medal cards because they get rotated out of pricing, as in they only give out the 3 latest sets as a pricing. So Origins and Proving Grounds will no longer be as a metal card pricing of best of in regionals, so people will play less of those. But Master E is an exception because Master E is Master E. He's just too good. If you want to win a tournament and you don't care about the best of medal card, you will bring Master E to a tournament. Mate, I'm new to the game. I want to learn how to play. It's my first TCG. What's the easiest way? Should I play online or just go to locals and somebody teach me? You can play online and you can go to locals. I bet at locals people will even give you a deck to play. But just to try it out, I would suggest you go online and play like in your free time, and then find some locals that you can find on the UVS webpage. And then based on that, you find which shop it is. You just try to find a Discord, or you just go there, and I bet somebody will give you a deck to try out and play. People are quite friendly in this community. Moving on, this will be edited out because I'm doing a YouTube video here. Let's think about it. Darius, once again, it's like most likely a metal card. Ari is a metal gaming, this is metal gaming, this is metal gaming. Yasuo, Darius, and Ari are all metal gaming, but as you understand, you don't get any metal cards for these three anymore. You could play Yasuo as a, let's say, Aurelia deck, but with Yasuo. So just because of that, I would say it's somewhere here. These are definitely stronger. Then this guy is also somewhere here, and Ari is also like somewhere here. Because why play Ari? I mean, Ari might be B tier actually with the new support. Yeah, all blue and yellow, all blue and green guys are in the same place. I see that, but I guess that's where the color is right now. It's not A tier in my opinion. Purple is the strongest color. And going to purple, I would say Zed is like somewhere here. Maybe even here. Just because Zed has the potential to play Miracle. You don't have to play Miracle. There's a token deck. You can play with Ilaoi and play a bunch of tokens. And essentially your Shadow clones are also tokens. But most likely people will be playing the Miracle Engine just because it's super strong. There's a new spell for 3 and 1 power that lets you get 2 units from the trash, which is essential perfect for Miracle because you will play those units for almost free. And just by discarding cards, you make yourself a toolbox in the trash, and you can get all the cards that you want and just establish and have big numbers. Also, the possibility to draw cards when you don't have cards, because when you play Miracle, you will burn out on cards in your hand. And the possibility for you to just draw a card with the legend is super strong. And then you would say, why not play Draven then? Well, Draven is a mid-range list at the moment. It's not a miracle list. But this guy is a miracle list because he has a signature spell that mills. He has way more potential to be able to get the miracle engine going than the Draven. Simply because of the signature spell and because of the legend ability. And discarding is kind of good if you think about it. Later on, we're going to be moving to Pike. Pike is most likely A tier, just like these two control decks is kind of doing the same thing, so I'm going to put them in between. But the difference is that Pike can bounce his targets to replay them, so most likely it's going to be better than Ezreal. And then after Pike is going to be Mel. Somewhere around this part is the control triangle. And out of all of them, just because of the fact that Mel has a signature spell that's stronger than Ezreal's signature spell, and it's quite important for a control deck to have a spell that can take your opponent's spell and use it against them. I would say Mel is the best out of these three in regards to the bird loop control decks that kill all your board and get cards discarded from your hand. After that, we have two purple legends left, which is Aurelia. Aurelia most likely is going to be like high A tier, low S tier. She did get a bunch of support with some spells and with some battlefields. I personally think it's like high A tier, but most likely it's low S tier. So if I could add like low S tier, I would add this into that. But once again, you have to watch the video to know that. Unless you're one of those guys like I do it, I just scroll to the end of the video and just look at it, so you won't know why it's there. But it's somewhere in between here. Maybe even here, I would say. Then we have Annie. Annie is of course still strong, but it's not gonna be played as much. I would say Annie is above these two definitely. Annie loses hard to these three guys and to this, and there's a lot of matchups where Annie is not in the best position. I've played a bunch of Annies at locals using Ezreal, and usually it's like kind of favored in my to my side. Unless they drop a Vex, then it's a bit harder, but yeah, I think it's somewhere around here. I think Victor is even lower than this, so this will be like that. Vex, it's hard to say with Vex. It feels like it has a lot of potential. It has a good legend on the side that you can use. But at the same time, it's like a hold deck, and in Riftbound, playing hold decks is like not something you want to do, just based on the meta. So it's either a low, like higher B tier or low A tier, but It's definitely not in contendance with these guys, right? So these two might be like low A tier, something like that. If I could add a row below, I would add low A. So these would be like in the low A tier. And is there anything else for a low A tier? I don't think so. Everything else seems pretty solid here. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Vex is most likely like high B, low A tier. Like, it's just that the way the game works, it doesn't favor Vex. Like, and even if you do want to hold, you have to burn a lot of runes and be able to sit there and chill. And at the same time, unchecked power is getting quite popular. Cannon is playing the Ruination in the main deck right now. And Vex doesn't have a lot of answers unless they play like a Hard Bargain or Abandon in the main deck. Then they could have an answer. But those cards are like questionable in a Vex deck. Maybe, but it's never a high A tier. These two, they can top, they can have a good performance, but I don't think they're like A tier. They're low A tier for sure. Same thing might be said about Rek'Sai. I think Rek'Sai is still good. Like, Rek'Sai is still A tier. I don't know why people don't play too much Rek'Sai, but Rek'Sai is like kinda good. Rek'Sai can do a lot of good things. Of course, it's a casino deck, and sometimes you get luckier than the usual game. But it's still a good A tier deck. Might be in the list somewhere, I would say, close to Akali. Somewhere here. Yeah, somewhere here. And Fiora. I don't know if you guys seen the list of Fiora playing Hook. Oh boy. Imagine this. You play a set. You buff the set. Next turn, you attack. You use the set. Set becomes 8. You go in, you conquer. He gets a buff. He becomes a 9. Then you hook the set, and you get an Elder Dragon. I don't know if you had games like that. I did, and it's very annoying because then you have to deal with it. And just for that reason, I would put this in like a low A tier. It can still top, it can still be good, especially with the new empowered units that Fiora got. Actually, with the new empowered units, she might be even A tier. If you think about it, like Kale empowers itself and you get to ramp. You play Mbessa, she empowers herself, you get to ramp. And at the same time, the Mbessa 4-drop is kinda good because if you think about it, the Mbessa unit, she doesn't get any damage outside of combat. So it's a very safe unit to play, and like it's essentially like a small forerunner that ramps you down. Sorry, different game. Arun. And yeah, I think it's definitely A tier, but the question is where in the list is it? You know what? I might lower this Aurora and this Aurora here. I will put this above this because Annie always counters Aurora. It's like a super easy matchup for it. And this might go somewhere here. I mean, turn 2 Aurora is kind of good. It's like this because this counters this and this counters this, yeah. And Fiora, she might be somewhere here. Or here. I would say somewhere here. Fiora is gonna be way better than she was in the last set. That's for sure. And then we have 2 legends left. This, I kind of want to say it's a low A, but at the same time, with all the purple running around, There's a lot of Vexes. Everybody is main deck in Vex at this point. If you're playing purple, you're gonna have 2 Vex in the main deck. Diana will have 2 Vex, Kennen will have 2 Vex, Arella will have 2 Vex, Draven will have 2 Vex, like any purple deck will have 2 Vex. And yes, this is a strong deck, but just because everybody has 2 Vex in the main deck, I would say it's like lower, like somewhere here. Yeah, somewhere here. Because this doesn't struggle into Vex as much, and this doesn't struggle into Vex as much. But this kind of does. And look at this, it's the same color as all of these 4 guys. That's not intentional. And yeah. Jax might be higher than this, and this might be higher than that, and this will be higher than this. This will be somewhere here. And then it's... because this is purple still. Just because it's purple, it has to be C. Yeah, so they're all in the same place. And the last one is Mbessa. About Mbessa. Just because she has a good unit as a chosen champ, she already deserves to be in A tier. The question is how high in the A tier. Like, there's a lot of empowered units in the game that are very beneficial for her. She has a very good battlefield to be able to discount those empower costs. Her chosen legend cannot be like dealt damage to unless she's in combat, which is also very nice. So I would say Mbessa is at least A tier. The question is how high in the A tier she is. She might be somewhere here, even above this, just because of the Mbessa legend. All of these decks struggle because they have to do like Starcross. And if they don't find Starcross, this guy is like chilling. But even if they do find Starcross, it's not that big of a deal because the deck has a lot of strong plays. The only difference against these guys is that they can struggle with drawing cards. So maybe just because of that, I would put them somewhere here. I would say this is pretty much the list. Maybe this goes here. Aurora is like, it's... if you're gonna be playing Aurora, you're most likely gonna be playing Jace and not these guys. So that's why they're here, but they're still Aurora decks, so they're still H tier. And yeah, anything else I would like to change? Let's see. S tier, S tier, S tier. Maybe this is S tier. Maybe even Draven is S tier. Like the top 5 guys from here. Well, top 3 are definitely contenders for a low S tier, I would say. So I'm just gonna move it around because I know people will skip until the end of the video. So I'm just gonna do this and say, yeah, this is the list. This is the whole list that we went through. The S tier, A tier, low A, B, C, and Metal Card Gaming. But the actual list is actually this in this order. Maybe even like this. This would be the actual list. Maybe Draven is even... no, LeBlanc is higher than Draven. But Draven is still like one of the top A tier decks here. I would even say it like this. But this was the full tier list after playing 40 plus hours of Vendetta. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.